So this is a process that was previously being done by this guy that's in the video. So this process was an onboarding process, basically a potential customer interview. So this guy here, he's a client. He was time poor because he was doing so much in the business and he didn't really have the time to be able to do all of the onboarding that he needed to do to grow the business to that next level. So what we did was we sat down, this is Tony here, said, Tony, let's go through the process. If I was a new client, what would you be talking to me, what would you be asking me? We went through the actual process of what he would ask a new potential client. We started to document it step by step by step. We then went through and said, what if I said this instead of that? What if I said I want to make, rather than a capital gain out of my property investments, I wanted to make cash flow out of my property investments? All right, in that circumstances, I would say this. He also listed down or shared the feedback that he would give at that point throughout the process. So we were able to not just ask people the questions to survey them on exactly what they wanted out of this particular product, we were able to also feed them back, feedback about their plans. So we were able to ask people, what are your goals that you want to achieve? We'd be able to say, great, that's a fantastic goal. It seems like it's achievable based on these parameters. The timing that you've got, that's fantastic, or it's too long, or it's too short, or whatever it is. Your finances look great. Based on that, you'd be looking at this particular outcome. We flowcharted this out, videoed it, just like Dave does in his business, and we've turned this into a process that happens automatically. Now, this means that a lot of these pre-sales calls that happen for this particular business can happen automatically. Not just that, it's actually a valuable, giveaway that you can give, where you can actually take people through in this case, 7-day mentoring program and give them something of value, while also pre-qualifying them for a sale and build that relationship with them one-on-one. Still not sure how it's going to work, but initial stuff or initial feedback that we're getting suggests that it's going to work fairly well. So this is a way that we're replicating people out of the business.
So are you envisaging this process working on, you'll have a video, and then at the end of the video there'll be a yes-no answer, and that will trigger them into a different sequence?
Yes, so these are a whole bunch of little 30-second videos or 2-minute videos where there's a yes-no answer or a little data input here. This particular data input is, I would like to achieve, in this case, $200,000 per year in before tax income from my property investments. So that goes into a system which does a whole bunch of calculations based on the same sort of calculations that Tony would be doing in an interview, and it feeds them through a flowchart, based on their answers. So if someone wants to make, $1 per year in property investing, Tony might say, yeah, $1 per year in property investing, maybe that's worth rethinking that goal. So if it's below a particular threshold, he goes, you know what, that's probably not what we do, you're probably not right for us, or here's some goal setting templates that you can use to look at what the next step is for you, or whatever it is that's the appropriate feedback for the client.
So at the end of the actual questionnaire or whatever, then they'll have, based on the information you gave us, this is our recommendation.
Yes, so at the end of this, the client, or actually at the end of each day of the process, the client receives a couple of downloads that they can use to actually implement what has been discussed in that particular day. At the end of the whole process, you've got a reasonably good property investing plan. At that point, you can say to the client, this is the limit to what we can actually do via videos. Let's chat one-on-one. Is there something that you might be interested in? Yes, no. All right, you're interested in this. I only want to work with people that are highly motivated to get the most out of their property investing. Based on that, do you fit this criteria? Yes, no. Great. In that case, let's get your details here and let's schedule in a call. And then the same sort of process as you saw before, where people, get onto a sales call. It's the same sort of thing for this particular consulting call, where they have to read an FAQ. That FAQ pre-qualifies them. If they've read the FAQ, then they can move to the actual call. If they haven't, then they get dropped off and rebooked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very clever.
The other thing that I'm playing with at the moment and systemizing in my own business is a lot of these emails that I'm writing are consistent, and replicable, and I feel like I'm writing the same things over and over again. There's only really so many ways that you can write a welcome email, or there's only so many ways that you can write that scarcity sequence that I showed you at the start, or remind people to actually come to an event. So what I'm doing in my own business at the moment when it comes to systems is I'm documenting all of those procedures and actually mapping out the funnels or the flow charts of the promos that I'm doing. And that's through a piece of software here called CopyMasher. This is currently in very early alpha at the moment. It's been created in conjunction with Steve-O, who's up the back there. Steve-O, give us a wave. Steve-O is one of the smartest tech guys that I've ever met. So if you wanted to have a bit of a play with this, it's currently in alpha. I wouldn't mind a couple of testers. I've got nothing to sell you at the moment, but this is copywriting software. So the way that it works is you've got a whole bunch of different subject lines, opening lines, pitch lines, and so forth. You select one of those pitch lines, edit it out to make sure it's actually got your business details in it, and it builds your email step by step or piece by piece, and does that same thing for every step of the funnel. So what you end up with, let's go back. One more. There you go. So it would do, for example, each one of these emails. So for email 1, you need to have these pieces. Here's a whole selection of different ways that you can have your subject line that actually work. Here's a whole bunch of ways that you can have your call to action at the end that actually work. It does it for each one of those emails. So it's basically systemizing copywriting.